Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity and more stamping and another page. Right, people had asked to see this birdie set, so I'm just going to pop that down. This is the Christmas Robin set, so we're using that one today. We're also using a couple of the jumbo numbers. I think I'm going to use these numbers here, and also going back into this pack that I've been using this week, because I absolutely love this, and I might use some of this, and I might use that, and I might use that. So there you go. Right, I'm just going to move those out of the way for a minute because I've tried to be a little bit prepared. We've already seen me doing drippy inking, and this is mustard seed and broken china. And I have covered my back, and I've used that gorgeous Panelisa collage paper again. So that is done, but I want to use a few of those stamps that I just showed you. Now, I did go around the edge of this with some black soot, and I might go around it again, but I'm just going to open up that pack of stamps and also say I hope everybody has an absolutely awesome day today. And here I go. I just absolutely love this. I absolutely love it. It's one of those crazy things, isn't it? You know, I might even leave it permanently there on a little stamp block for when I'm doing my planners, because I just think it's so cute. So we're just going to go in and cover those holes, and I hope that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Now, I don't know whether I got that there accurately, but it's just a great little detail, and you can move your stamp around and do it however you want it. Isn't it sweet? Oh, it is. Just keep wiggling your stamp around so that you're getting a different perspective everywhere that you go, and just make it look different every time. Now I'm going to wiggle it that way, and I'm going to turn it round that way. There. Now I have got little splashes up my border, and I am happy. Yeah. Right, so other things that I want to do to this is I want to use some of those stamps. Now I will say before we continue, I have already stamped and fussy cut the things that I want. So if I move that over slightly, I've got my large number 2 and 5. I've cut out a bunch of the little berries and the little holly. I've done a big robin, and I've also done a small robin, but I can't see where I put it. But I know it's here somewhere. Probably hiding under my water brush, or did I just put it? There it is. I've done a teeny weeny robin. And then I kept the legs on this one, and of course to match it in with your background, just colour in between the legs, because that's one of those areas that's virtually impossible to fussy cut. So as I said, I did loads of hollies and berries and other stuff that is in that set. Right, now I'm going back into this set because I really do like that spotty border, and I think it could sort of resemble snow. Well, that's how my mind is working anyway. So I'm gonna get that. Ooh, and I must share some gardening excitement with you. I had a Cara orange delivered yesterday, and I'm really excited about that. Yes, I am. Just to go off on a tangent, because it just one orange will give you 150% of your vitamin C each day, which is awesome. And it also contains a lot of fibre and lipocene, which is very good for your heart and liver. How's that? For going off on a tangent. Right, there's my first bit, and I do want to go down the whole side with this, I've decided. So I'm going to put little bits of space in between just in case I want to do something else, because you have to get carried away. Right, so that is totally my suggestion of a snowy border. If I move that along, you can see that. Love that. And now I want those numbers from that other set. And that is, it's called Distressed Christmas. Yes, indeed. Let's hope we're not all distressed at Christmas. It's supposed to be a joyous occasion. So I'm just getting the numbers out. Just peel them off the back of here. Now, for those of you who don't like your mixed media and altered art, the store has said that, you know, it's their first time of actually making stamps. So they're going to be doing all kinds of stamps, which is going to be an interesting thing to see in the future. Right, now, make sure your numbers are the right way around. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm pretty sure my numbers are the right way around. So I'm going to go here, because having a few numbers is kind of going to link to the fact that I'm using those large numbers. And then I'm just going to go off down the bottom, I think. Might go here at a nice little angle. Yeah. So now I have numbered myself. There you go. So you can see how far we've got with that bit. Right, now I'm going to put my stamps aside just for a minute while I bring in the other stuff, because that's going to need colouring in. And I'm just going to put a little bit of water down here and clean my mess, because I don't really want black to go into my colours. Now what I've got is my Tombow watercolour markers, and I've gone with 158, I've got 985, and I've got 856. And I really do wish that they would give them colour names, because sometimes I think numbers can just be really confusing. So I've taken my stamp off here because I'm going to use that for water. And I've got my watercolour brush, and if I want to blend anything out, I'm going to do it on there. So I'm just going to pop that way, you can see it. And first of all, I'm going to do the numbers, and I want my numbers, I think, to be blue. And I haven't picked up a blue, so excuse me 1 second. Right, so here we go, and I've decided on 493. And what I'm going to do, really simple, just scrub your pen out onto your block or whatever it is that you choose to use. Use your watercolour brush, and once again, all of these pieces that I've done today are in that Walmart watercolour cardstock, and just go in and colour. Really quick, really simple. How's that? I haven't done that bit yet because I might do that in a different colour, and I might do that in a different colour. Squeezing out a little bit more water from my brush, because you do not have to have it all the same colour blue all the way around. And I'm just quite literally tickling my colour on here. Put some on, take some off. And I think I will go a little bit darker actually at the bottom of that too. So I'm just going to pick that up, put that down. Right, I'm going to dry those and I will be back. Right, now I've decided I'm going to do the numbers here in my yellowy orange pen that I selected. So that's what I'm going to do there. And that's the nice thing about Tombow, is that you can water them down or you can use them neat. It's entirely up to you. And I'm going to go around each of the edges with my black soot and just take that white edge off so it doesn't look so harsh when it's glued down. So I'm going to do these and I'll be right back. Right, my 2 and 5 are complete and they're going to be, you know, going onto here. So I'm just going to move those out of the way. And the next thing is going to be the berries. Now I'm just going to get my piece of scruffy paper there and get some of this up. And just grab up anything that's got a berry on it. And I'm just going to be using that red that I showed to you. And I'm not going to be watering this down. I'm just going to go in neat, so that you can see exactly what I'm doing there. And I'll just do all of them and be back. Right, so red ink on the berries and now green ink on the leaves, which is the 158. And this is an olivey green. And I'm going into the areas that have black ink on them, so that doesn't bother me, because it's still going to show up as a shadow anyway, if you know what I mean. So as you see, I've done that. I'm going to do all my other leaves and I will be back. All leaves and berries are done. I'm going to put my pen down here and I'm going to go around each of them with my black ink again, just to get rid of that white edge. So I'm going to do them all like that and then I will be right back. Right, so I've done that, and next up is the robins, and this time I will be using my watercolour and scrubbing it out. So I'm going to use some orange and I want that up in this area, where the stamp has left some space. I mean, you can go over your entire bird to make it blend. It really doesn't matter. So, and then I'll do the teeny weeny one off camera. Now the inside of the leg here is mustard seed, because that's what I used on my planner, so I'm going to have to put mustard seed into there. And now with the two colours on the palette, I'm going to use some red, because of course a robin is a redbreast. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that orangey colour and just put it into there, and then if I want it darker, you know, I can certainly do that. But they do tend to be an orangey red. I'm just going to go into there, so I'm not going to overdo it. And then I'm going to go, I think, back into my yellow and strengthen that bit up a bit. Yeah. And then just drag your colour along where you've inked. Right, I'm going to be happy with that, but I will put some mustard seed in there. But I'm going to do that little one and I'll be right back. Right, so those are dry and I've moved everything up there, and I've got my glue bottle here ready, which is Dollar Tree glue. I've got my planner page that I now want to complete, and I like the circle, and I also like the Imagine that's in this set. But in the Robin set you get what you can use as snow, so I'm going to grab that and I'm going to dot that around a few times. So I'm just going to pop it on my stamp block, and I'm using my Distress Archival again, and all I'm doing is just inking it up off camera, and I'm going to put it in places like here, so I'm kind of like connecting and breaking this up a little bit. So that it's kind of more of a border than looking like a pile of bits and pieces stamps. And of course it is my snowfall, so I'm just going to go in and over. Now some of this may get covered up, some of it may not. Who knows? That's the fun of it. I want to go into there, and I'm going to face it that way. So we've got quite a covered piece here. So I'm going to stop with that there just for a minute, because I don't know what I'm going to be doing with those big round stamps until I start positioning stuff. So I'm just going to move those out of the way just for a second. And my ink pad, and now is the time to start arranging. Now as you see, I put some, oh, it's my camera blurred, I put mustard seed there because I kind of want it to blend into the background more along here. And I've got my numbers, and they can be wherever I want them to be, and I might actually put them through that numbered section. Or I might even have my robin standing on number 25. I'm just going to grab all these down here. And then you just have to, you know, play around until you decide what's what. Because it could be that my big robin is just standing there. I don't know if you can see that, on top of my 25, which I quite like. And then of course we've got holly and berries. I quite like that one there. And then I've got another one here. So I think I'm going to put the single berries there. Right, quite like that. Yeah, about there and there. And then I've got my single sprigs. I quite like the idea of my robin having a few berries by him. And then I've got sprigs that can go over here. I like working in threes. So I might put those sprigs there, if you can see that. I've got my robin on the 25. I will try and adjust everything in a bit so that you can see it. I've got berries. And I could have even more berries actually, making that just one big cluster. And then my little robin up here sitting on a piece of holly. I'll put that there. But this area here where I've got my bird, I need to pay attention to that, because as I grab my my stamp block flying across the room, that is where I want to give my birdie a halo. So I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at that, and I totally want my bird to have a halo. So that's where I'm going to stamp, right there. So I'm just going to move that because I know I'm going to use that. I tend to like push stuff to the side of where it's going to come back on again, so I don't forget my composition. So let's pick that up. I can kind of roughly see where that is. Now I'm going to load that up with some ink. And almost like a speech bubble. I'm going to go there. I think I'm safe to go there. So I've got that there, and I'm thinking my birdie is going to have a halo. So I can move that down a bit. So that's kind of highlighting the head. And then I want the other round stamp, which is Imagine. So that's that one. I'm just pulling that off and putting this here. I've got a lot of stamps to clean, that's all I'm going to say. And then I'm going to ink that one up. So I'm kind of thinking speech bubble, so I'm going to go right there. So I've got Imagine right there. And if I wanted to, I could add even more little circles, because I've got that little circle star dot that you saw yesterday. That was a really sweet one as well. I do tend to sort of like pick up and go for those kinds of things. Right, this is my composition. So basically, as you see that, I'm going to turn it around. As you see that, that's how I'm going to position it, and I'm going to be right back, and then we're going to add some highlights. Right, so I've got all of that fixed in. I put my little birdie up there. I've got my kind of imagined speech bubble type halo, and I did actually use my orange Tombow, which is the one that we used on the Robin, the 985. I'll get it the right way around. And just did around that because I just wanted it highlighted, and I was actually thinking if I shouldn't go around that with blue, and do you know what, I think I might. So I'm gonna go over that with blue because I really want the focus to be on my little bird. These Tombow markers are so great, easy on your hands, really easy and quick to put colour down. So I've got that going on, and I really like that. So I have got my Posca pen, which we used yesterday, and I just want to dot a few highlights here and there. Now before it gets too over primed, I'll just put a little bit of white there. Now here's where you take a risk. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to cap it, and I'm also going to shake it. And when you take your lid off, be careful that you haven't, you know, overdone it. And where you can see those little black dots, that's where I'm going to put some white. So it's like putting a little bit of happy on what you've done. And because it's watercolour and we're using paint, obviously, the two paints can mix so that you get not so much of a bright white, but you will get a highlight. And that's something that can look really lovely. And of course, there are some areas here where you've got your snowfall, where you can just go in and add little dots that probably no one else will notice, but as it's your planner page, you know, it's something that you're going to notice that you did, and they're just nice little touches. But you see how that little bit of white blending in with reds just brings that berry to life. Right, so we have so far managed to achieve this with our stamps. You can see that they're very similar colours. I used the Panalisa collage on the back of that one, and then when you look at all the gorgeous colours that are in this, things that you wouldn't necessarily associate with Christmas, but then you flip it over on the other side that's ready to go, you've got all similar colours in that gorgeous collage. But I just absolutely love that. Great sets of stamps, really easy to use. Just let your imagination run riot. And then the Polaroids that we did yesterday, a little bit, you know, sort of softer and keeping in with some black and white, and that is meant for there or for in the pocket. So those are the two that we've done so far. Now tomorrow somebody has said to me, please can you show me how you distress the acetate? So we're going to use those stamps, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. That's going to be incredibly grungy, so I warn you now. It's about getting out your alcohol pens or your alcohol inks, your StazOn and your acetate. So if you want to play along, make sure you've got those things, and maybe a little bit of sandpaper. And that's actually a small haul that I'm going to share with you as well. So I thank you so much for joining me today. Have an absolutely wonderful day, and as usual, all links below. Bye.